opinion, okay, so they're going to stick with the Azir. Traditionally, Akali is considered a counter into the Azir, as she is into many mages because of her ability to dive on top of them and have that kill threat once she gets to level 6. But Scout demonstrated in game 1 that he's feeling good on the matchup, he's feeling good on the champion, and he's saying that I can still guarantee pressure in this lane 1v1. Maybe we can do that if we can also get ourselves a winning bot side.
It's such an interesting draft because it is taking some left turns here a little bit. Flandre, obviously, he can play the carries. He won Worlds last year playing Graves. Is obviously a carry top. The Jax, is strong into the Aatrox, but I will say the early levels can be very difficult, and you have to play the Jax really well to actually do well in this matchup. It's very, very difficult if you are getting constantly poked out, by these Qs from Aatrox, harassed under tower. Jax wants to more look for those all-ins where, Aatrox tends to win that kind of chip and trade back and forth. So it can be difficult to deal with.
I do love this Kai'Sa ban from DRX. Everything from EDG was suggesting that they kind of wanted to dive on top of you. Yeah. They wanted to get up close and personal. And I think the Kai'Sa being respected, so no Kai'Sa Nautilus to the side of Viper and Meiko. The question is, what other direction could they go? Would they want to stick to something like the Sivir? EDG, on the other hand, are saying, we don't want you to have long-range, safe scaling AD carries, both the Ashe and the Jinx removed from Deft.
I wonder if that means that they want to go towards Aphelios on the side of EDG, right? Because some people do really like Jinx as an answer into the Aphelios. So that would give you really strong scaling options if you just went Aphelios here, you pick support for a winning 2v2 on 5. I think that could make a lot of sense. Deft obviously is also
Lulu,
just exactly, yeah. Deft is also really known for his Jinx. It is one of his historically best champions. Yeah. So I think this is really smart because it's a strong duo that it really answers, I think, most things well in the meta. Because you have support pick on 5, that can really kind of account for any sort of difference.
Well, we'll see it hover down, probably get locked in. Lulu.
I like it.
Likely an answer here. We'll see. Lucian Nami is up. Was played every single game of the previous series. Also, you can go for something like a Varus Heimerdinger if you're going for something a little bit more unusual. Of course, Ashe was banned away.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that you're going to go for the Lucian Nami, because that's kind of considered to be countered generally by the Aphelios Lulu. Draven would be really, really exciting if we are going to get something super aggressive. So it's going to be the other option. I wonder now, okay, so they're going Ezreal plus Heimer.
What?
So heavy poke, right? Generally there's two schools of thought. If you go Ezreal, you either go Ezreal with an engaged support and you roam, or you go Ezreal with something like a Karma or a Heimer or whatever, and you look to dominate the lane through poke. They're going to try to dominate through poke here. And it would be a tougher laning phase if they go Lulu, but the scaling on EDG's side is just insane.
And I think the EDG is very comfortable with that. It is their bread and butter. We talked a lot about it in game 1. They are one of the best team fighting teams in the world. The reason why they were so competitive in the LPL during playoffs was because of their incredible team fighting. And that man in the mid lane, Scout, he will once again be on the Azir. He'll have the Lulu as additional utility to help protect him and the rest of the team. DRX going for a bit of a mishmash when it comes to their composition. Yeah. One of my criticisms of game 1 was that if they wanted Kingen to be this split-pushing threat, I think it would have been better to have Zeka on something like an Akali so they can have multiple split-pushing threats, and it facilitates better into their pick comp style. However, they don't have the Ashe this time, so while I think that they do have that side lane threat, that pick threat is now what they're lacking. They really don't have much utility and really much range outside of the bot lane from DRX when competing against Aphelios and Azir.
I mean, you have alt Heimer grenade, that's like about it. That or a flank is really what you're looking at, for the engage. So I always feel when you play these kind of compositions that DRX has, you have to be winning early because you have to be first to objectives. These comps can circumvent their lack of engage when people are checking into them, when people are having to come through those Heimer turrets and the Ezreal poke, and there's Poppy on one side, Aatrox on the other, you're having to walk in. It's very difficult. But if you are to fall behind with this style of composition, you don't really have a lot of ways to come back because you can't actually find pick. You're not going to win through side against Jax, and you don't really have that hard engage. So your options become very, very limited. So, if EDG are just able to keep it even in the early stages, I think they're going to be feeling so good about their chances in this game.
They certainly are. I think EDG already securing game 1, looking good. We'll see if they can continue that momentum as we head into game 2.
Alrighty, what's it going to be? DRX had a huge early game lead in game 1, but EDG found the win through team fighting and heroics out of Scout, who is back on the Azir. Zeka, however, second time around, had the option of playing Akali in game 1, now plays it in the same match he could have played it in before.
Crowd seems quite competitive right now. A lot of EDG support, but a lot of DRX here as well. Of course, both the LPL and the LCK have strong representatives making their way into the semifinals already. Will we see a 3 LCK trio in the semis, or will we see 2 LPL and 2 LCK? EDG currently lead the series, and once again, they're looking to emulate their success from game 1. Strong team fighting. Ezreal and I have already talked extensively about the late game insurance of this Azir Aphelios. Those familiar with Pro Play League should have seen this combo multiple times throughout the world. They're no stranger to it. The real surprise to us is this Jax in the top lane. They were confident in giving over this Aatrox to Kingen, and then Flandre having the answer.
What's interesting is across Flandre's career, he does have a lot of carry games. There's a lot of, okay, yeah, Nars the most played, but like there's Vladimir's and whatnot in there. This is his 9th ever Jax game across an 8-year-long career. Like, Jax is not the one he actually goes to very often. It doesn't win the lane, it outscales the Aatrox, sure, but this is not what he normally goes to.
And I will say, I really like this turret placement. You know, hugging the wall here so that the minions aren't actually aggroing directly onto them. The minions aggro each other, and this just gives you the push, right? It's giving you that additional advantage. And Viper now, they're going to go aggressive onto him.
Yeah, a lot of damage on a half HP, but now back on a BeryL. Cloverland slows. Not going to go for any flash follows there. Viper could have maybe tried, but might have found himself dead to Deft. Still means the push goes over the DRX's side.
And all they force is the Ghost off Viper, and he is playing Ghost Flash. It is not, you know, a standard defensive summoner spell. The heal is on Meiko, and both those summoners down on BeryL. He's going to be so vulnerable now. You know, if JJ can find an opportunity in this next 5 minutes to get down towards bot lane, could be very, very effective.
You can see, though, that DRX maintaining this push, not quite as scary as the Ashe Heimerdinger is, but obnoxious nonetheless. Flandre being able to get this early push is no surprise. When we talk about early laning phase, normally once Kingen has gotten a few more points in his queue is when you start winning out in the isolated 1v1. But for the time being, Flandre will maintain that push. Same in the mid lane for Scout. And this means that JJ pathing up towards the top side. His primary goal here will be to cover Flandre in the event of any early shenanigans from Pyosik.
Nice up to the Q3 though by Kingen at the very least. They trade blows back and forth. 3 CS difference. The pressure for Flandre. We'll see if he wants the lane to go back to his side. But just whatever Jax wants to do, he'll get out of this one. JJ going to be sitting around. He knows if Poppy were to come around, this would be an unplayable gank situation. And I'm not sure if he saw the trick go down. They didn't see Sejuani, so Pyosik about to be face checking in, and at what point do they go for it? There's the slow. Looking for the Q in a second there, and he's going to find the first stun. Leap strike won't land. Pyosik trying to run away. He is phase rush, and he might have already triggered it, as now you've got the rest coming around. Scout will not get any more than this, but Pyosik down his flash.
Great coverage there, though, by JJ. Flandre, you know, using the lead strike a little bit too early because the W had already been popped from Poppy, I believe, before she was stunned up. So he could have just waited that out, potentially been able to get enough damage in that either he would have gotten the kill or Scout could have flash followed for that kill. But either way, they do force out the summoner. They keep Jax safe here on that reset. And Flandre's actually going to hold on to the teleport. He knows that he might be getting targeted in this lane here, as he does have to push aggressively if he wants to be able to threaten those all-ins. So he's actually just going to hold on to the TP. Yes, he'll lose a little bit of experience, a little bit of gold for the couple minions, but I always really favor holding on to that.
Yeah, I think it's really wise, because you never know, right? Poppy comes around next time around, and it's like, I lost 2 waves that I could have gotten by TPing. It's like, I guarantee you lose 2 CS here, or I have a chance at saving 14 CS. And, you know, makes that estimation, says it's the right way to do it. It does mean he's going to be temporarily at an XP deficit. Really nice play by Kingen, actually getting away from the entire combo. Getting the better side of it, as JJ is here yet again. But Flash being out for the Aatrox should make this pretty tough to play for.
Right now, was he snuck into
I don't believe
push?
that reveals in... Yeah, in player POV, this doesn't reveal to you. As spectator, you get infinite information, but only once he autos will he land stacked. You can see Flandre not autoing him.
JJ is committing to this play. Kingen does have the level advantage. And here we go.
For it. Finds for a stun, slow combo. He's going to flash, find the stun, and a flash over. They're going to have it after all. Beautifully set up, beautifully secured. Fierce blood goes to Flandre.
That was so well done there. Double flash straight in onto Kingen, and they hold the Sejuani stun for after Kingen flashes so they can catch right back up onto him. Really, really nicely done. And now we're seeing the inverse of what we were talking about play out here. Pyosik, though, looking for a wraparound on Bob, but BeryL may just be dead.
BeryL has no summoners, and he's going to go down dead. The first kill for Aphelios indeed. Yes, it's a trade kill. Well done, but EDG getting the best of it they could in a 2v3.
EDG gaining advantages in the lane. They find a good gank on the top side in the 2v2 from Viper and Meiko, wanting a little bit of revenge after the pressure that they were put under in game 1. Secure that kill onto BeryL and punish him for his level 1 aggression.
I mean, that is just huge. They get the kill on the top. on a TP-less Aatrox, who, you know, now the wave was going to bounce. It's going to push away from him, so he's in a really bad spot. Flandre still maintains TP advantage. And then in the 2v3 here, BeryL gets caught by the Glitter Lance, gets rooted up, and just gets knocked down there. Beautiful job by the EDG bot lane, winning out on the 2v3.
Funnily enough, it's the minion that actually secures that kill at the very end. They didn't quite have enough damage, but you could see that little auto attack flying through the air from the minion, ending up securing that kill onto BeryL, which means that EDG rather, find themselves with a kill advantage. Gold, though, still very comparable. The reason is, when you have a look at the CS, Zeka finding a pretty significant advantage in the isolated 1v1, choosing to run the fleet footwork to give him a little bit more sustain as the all-in from Flandre, but Pyosik's here to cover.
Now Division finds the stun, but Kingen not going to find anything more to do. A couple of slows come out of Pyosik. Decent damage here on Flandre. And here comes Sejuani. Going to find a knockup out of the Aatrox. Decent damage coming around. And even with that gank, it's DRX finding the better trade.
Yeah, going to be able to get the better trade and going to be able to push this in critically. They're just trying to cover Kingen on this push. He has no TP, he has no flash, so Pyosik knows his game is pretty over if he dies there again. So they really want to make sure that that did not happen. But not going to be able to threaten any sort of a dive. I just think that they're too healthy.
It's actually committed in towards the top lane. Zeka is on his way, and so is Scout.
It's reading that there's going to be a longer play on the top side. Scout has indeed walked up. They're going for the play here. Ulti's not going to land. Zeka's coming around. Those are going to be enough. They shuffle the boat for the turret. No one has aggro yet, but the damage should be enough. It is traded back. Zeka reads the play and salvages what would have been a 1-for-0.
Ends up being a 1-for-1. A good teleport from Zeka, but it's EDG that's actually first to the play. We see a little bit more trading on the bot side of the map, but I don't think it's going to result in a huge amount. The fact that Scout was able to roam up first, it felt like that he could see the play happening before it did. He's able to find another beautiful ultimate onto 2, forcing DRX underneath the tower. Really sets up EDG for success, and if it wasn't for Zeka being here, this could have been much worse for DRX.
But still, just such a good ulti there from Scout. Shoves them both under the tower, so there's not even really an opportunity to fight back. And yes, Zeka does clean up the 1-for-1, but at the end of the day, he expended his teleport. You know, there's no kill on the Aatrox. Jax just gets further and further ahead off that because he picked up a kill, he picked up an assist, and now JJ looking to see if he can steal his way, but he doesn't have an upgraded smite, so it should be Pyosik's as long as he's committing his smite.
But he doesn't know that he's in the brush there. QW, and he actually gets it. Tagging on the wall, though. Level 6. Ulti not back up, but it doesn't matter. What a nice play out of JJ.
That's cheeky, JJ. That's very, very cheeky. Taking away the red buff right from underneath his nose. DRX will find themselves with a small gold lead for the time being, but a small win there for JJ as he steals away the red buff.
And that's really down towards that bottom side. That is their kind of main advantage right now. A little bit of a gold lead there in mid as well. You know, Deft playing that first strike Ezreal. They have been having some good little bits of poke that they're landing onto Viper to try to establish a small CS advantage. Of course, BeryL did die. But overall, that 2v2 is still going pretty well for them.
And I want to go back to this mid lane point because Zeka getting a CS advantage in this lane matchup is not typical. Often the Azir will be pressuring that Akali underneath the tower, forcing you to lose those early CS, but by choosing to run the fleet footwork, it means that in the long game, you end up coming out with the sustain advantage with both the Doran shield and the constant healing that you get from that passive. Means that Zeka playing the laning phase very well. Let's see if he can translate that lane advantage into the team fight later on as JJ has found BeryL.
Oh, what a great stun. Will it be enough, though? Summoners are down, and Viper secures the kill, 2-0.
Yeah, BeryL failing his flash over the wall there. Popped the flash, but was not against it. They're going to try to make a counterplay up on top side, but Flandre.
Pyosik pulls aggro, wait for the turret to cool back down. I think they're waiting out his ultimate, get him less stats, and they're going to go back in once it's down.
They want him to pop Counter-Strike, but he's just refusing to do it. But if they go for it and he pops Counter-Strike, then he might be able to turn it around.
They're pressing Q. He's going to do the same. Jump back to the minions to get out. Got a fair bit of the XP, but he missing all of the gold. Great restraint on both sides.
You ever seen that scene in The Office where they're all pointing finger guns at each other? That's what that was. They were all just looking at each other awkwardly, and Flandre just decides, you know, I've got another meeting to get to, so I'm just gonna leave this one for now. Of course, that will mean that he falls behind in the CS point, but as Freak mentioned earlier, it's more about the scaling for this top lane matchup as Viper continues to get the better of BeryL here down in the bot lane.
It's all about that standoff. You know, when you're trying to go for those dives on Jax, you almost always have to force the Counter-Strike first. Otherwise, you just likely will not have the damage to actually finish him off there. But DRX do push him back. They are going to be able to get a Herald off the back of this. So despite it feeling like a lot of the things are going EDG's way, the gold's still very close, and Herald has the opportunity to get them out. this is just BeryL just not quite against the wall when he flashed. And that just seemed like it was a misplaced flash. He was kind of flashing backwards. I think he saw the ultimate coming out, and maybe his mouse was just in the wrong spot, so he's just a little bit of a panic flash, it felt like.
A part of me thinks that he thinks that even if he flashed over the wall, he was going to get hit by the Sejuani ultimate, so he decided to flash left. But it looks like that with no flash, he ain't getting out of this one.
Stuck with a slow, and then give it over to the AD carry yet again. Looks like it is going to be claimed by Sejuani. JJ gets his share of the action now. It's 5-2, and they are just picking on the bottom lane.
Yeah, and this is looking rough for BeryL in this one. And this is, a lot of times people will talk about the issues that you can have with these mage supports, right? Mage supports are known for being able to bully in the 2v2, but something what people will always say is, yeah, but what about the ganks? You don't really have the ability to escape from a lot of these ganks. And, you know, BeryL losing that flash multiple times in this lane has been easy prey for JJ. And now it's a 0-3-1 BeryL here that has really been most of the kills this game.
Really well done to find those bits of action. You can see that the gold still favoring DRX very slightly. A 20 CS lead for the Aatrox. If you collect this wave after Jax pushes it in, because he still, despite being down in kills, able to play the lane out pretty well. And they're going to get even more as long as Deft should stay in range. He is plus 610. Thank you very much. Deft is huge at 5,500 gold. It's 1,000 out of anyone else in the game.
And I'm just so curious, though, like, are they going to start dragon stacking? Because since they haven't really established that big of a gold lead, I'm just trying to think about how they are expecting to play this one out, right? Because you're really low on engage. You need to be able to force your opponents to come to you at the points in which you are strong. Generally use the dragons to be able to do that, but they haven't even taken their first 12 minutes in, so even if they begin to now, Soul will be so far away that I feel like EDG are going to have all the time they can ever want to get to their 2-3 items before they have to fight.
For sure. EDG just feel like they're in full control of the game right now. And the gold difference is surprisingly deceptive. You know, gold is often a good indicator of who is like in the lead right now, but I feel like a lot of these gold leads being generated by DRX are just small individual lane advantages being built, but in the grand scheme of things, they're not that dramatic. It means the DRX should still be on pace in terms of itemization. There's still options for them, but I really feel like that when the map opens up is when DRX's comp becomes a lot more unleashed. But as we talked about, Ezreal, with the Ashe, they had way more room to find picks on the map, but now they're forced to try and look for these dives, and I don't think this will go the way they want.
Flash out for Flandre, ulti on, and not going to get much more out of Pyosik. Still gets the flash, which is nice. Flandre, though, withstanding the aggression, still on 0 deaths.
And credit to Flandre, because this is historically what he's known for, right? The weak side player, the one that often gets a lot of reasons to throw a good ult from JJ.
Themselves a stun. Will it kill BeryL for the 4th time this game? In comes Jax, and Flandre gets his part of the buffet.
He gets another kill. Flandre has been withstanding the pressure, surviving as best as he can. And every time EDG gets up there, they seem to get kills. When DRX gets up there, all they're getting is maybe a slight CS advantage here, and Kingen will be waiting around for it, so we'll be able to collect the wave as Pyosik is up here to cover. But again, another play going the way of EDG. And Flandre has got to be very close to his mythic now if he doesn't already have it.
It's just pick after pick going in favor of EDG. JJ has been everywhere on the map right now, but involved in 5 of the team's 6 kills. Outside of that 2v2 that was happening in the bot side of the map, he has been everywhere, finding ganks top, finding ganks mid, finding ganks bot, and DRX yet to really gain much on the map. You can see the towers being chipped away at. They do have the advantage down towards the bot side of the map. Of course, those plates being secured with DRX was very favorable, but next Dragon spawning that 3-minute time, that's where I expect the next big fights to be happening between these two teams.
3:15, a while to go. But right now, see the duo lanes have gone to mid lane, pushing the waves back and forth now. Is unfortunately for Deft and his lane mate, they have not gotten nearly the kind of pressure they had before. They did knock the whole turret down. That was, you know, nice with the Rift Herald and all that, but you usually have that first Drake. They've essentially swapped objectives from the prior game. DRX still, though, 1,000 gold up in the early game, just like last time.
JJ is hovering around the top side of the map. Will throw out a bit of vision, but DRX quick to respond. What I will say is when I think about the pressure on both these teams' shoulders, you have to wonder if a lot more is sitting on the shoulders of EDG. You're going to hear it a lot today, but reigning world champions, that is what they are. One of the few teams and organizations to maintain their roster after winning worlds. The 2 exceptions to that were Samsung from 2016 to 2017, or 2017 to 2018 rather. And then it was Invictus Gaming, back from 2018 to 2019. We'll see if EDG can usurp the curse of being knocked out after winning the world championship. But really, T1 is the only organization that's won back-to-back world championships, and it wasn't even with the same roster, right? Exactly. It was only Faker who was able to do it.
Yeah, and for IG, you know, they're the furthest the team has gotten after winning and then returning with the same roster. They got to the semifinals. The other team to do it, Samsung, I believe, did get knocked out actually in groups. So,
yes,
you know, it is one of these situations where it is pretty rare to be able to maintain that level of dominance for so long. EDG setting up the dive here as Kingen comes in.
Versus one. Kingen flashed the way, gets a ton of knockups, locks JJ down to the turret, and he's got reinforcements. Will it be enough? Not just yet. Everyone getting away. Poppy, evict, flashes in, looks for Scout. Not quite killing him. He's got enough reinforcements, and with Meiko around, the durability is too much. The rest of the DRX are coming around as well. Over the wall goes Deft, half HP on the Viper. EDG, 5 men strong, running away.
It's EDG forced to play on the defense. They were the team setting up the dive, but the response from DRX was swift. BeryL has his eyes on a play, but I don't think they're going to convert it into much. The TP coming out from the Ezreal, going down towards the mid lane. The ultimate just to delay the backs. DRX want to secure objectives, and they're going to do just that. Top tower secured. They have their eyes on mid as well.
They're going to get 2 towers and a Herald off of this. This is actually brilliant. We saw Deft just TP straight towards mid. BeryL don't pull aggro on the tower.
Oh, had to flash the ulti. Gale Force! And the Q lands! 5 dead! BeryL is feeding!
Viper sends his regards. Say goodnight, BeryL. Another death for him. Trying to play it cheeky, trying to zone Viper away from getting back to his tower. But Viper says, bro, you're not that strong.
It was last year that BeryL had to lose at the hands of EDG in the final. And here in Game 2, he is struggling against the bot lane of EDG, considered one of, if not the best bot lane in the world. Viper proving why he holds that title.
Absolutely. I mean, Viper has just been so impressive in the LPL. When it comes to team fight time, this guy really plays the edge so incredibly well. You know, it's some of the most impressive team fighting you really will ever see. Flandre now pushing up here, but again, JJ close by, will be there for cover.
Pyosik, Hex Flash over the wall, does not get anything more out of it. Flandre ults for durability, that's actually doesn't get hit too badly. Second drink of the game, looking to go to EDG's way. Pyosik is around, could try to find the smite. Zeka zone out for a second, go for the stun, smited, well done. But the team fight is here. Big damage out of Kingen, an eviction on a 1. JJ gonna be attacked, he should go down, and yes, the kill goes over to Deft. It's DRX trying to find a team fight in the mountain. Actually, it's the Infernal Rip making it easy to chase on in. That means Meiko's gonna be in range, and Meiko is gonna drop. EDG have the Drakes, but DRX kill the champion.
And they have a Herald as well. Could they go to Baron here? Are they just gonna push for towers? There's no jungler alive. They didn't make the call. They're gonna play for gold. They're gonna go for the inhibitor tower here. Tier 2 will fall quickly, but can Scout prevent a second charge?
I think it'll one shot from the eye at this point, so as long as he's there. Pop, down it goes, nothing else done. And I think, yeah, if Baron had spawned, that would have been the option for DRX.
Oh, of course.
It was so
It feels much later into the game, considering how tense these team fights are, Ezreal, so I don't blame you. But yeah, DRX walk away with a big fight there, and you can see how quickly the gold lead has ballooned. Earlier I said it was a bit deceptive, it's not anymore, and you can see how JJ gets a really good smite onto the dragon. But look at how they're able to play this front to back, knocking out the Jax and forcing them into this choke point, and a really clutch stun there from BeryL onto Viper. He turns back to try and land a bit of damage onto the engaging DRX. For EDG, they just don't have the summoners to disengage from this, and DRX just barrel through the enemy's jungler and extend to a 5k gold lead.
Yeah, and Kingen showcasing the value of that Aatrox in that fight, being able to drain tank through a lot of the damage. You know, I'm surprised DRX was still able to find the angle. Zeka had been chunked out so heavily by Viper on the side, and he had one of those Aphelios turrets down, and did about 50 to 60% of Zeka's health before he even was able to enter the fight. So it was looking like it could have been a good one for EDG, but that Poppy ultimate, the front lining of the Aatrox really shining through. And DRX team fight their way to a 5k gold lead here. Are able to claim another tower off the back of that, so now Deft is ridiculously strong. And you look at the completed items here down in this bot lane, he's already transformed. And Romana already stacked up here. He's looking good.
It's one of those situations where it doesn't matter if we can find criticism and weaknesses in DRX's comp, because they have Aatrox. And this champion is considered way too strong. He just seems so flexible on the power he can generate in lane, but more importantly, what he can do in team fights. And I think that this is the biggest thing that EDG still need to find a way to deal with. As long as Kingen is getting onto the EDG, well, anyone, he's able to just melt them and tear apart these fights. We'll see if EDG can find more impressive team fights as the game continues.
And Flandre is going for the Frozen Heart second build, which I do really favor. I think it's very, very strong on the Jax. It was pretty good in the 1v1 against these physical damage side lane that he's going to be dealing with. But it also is really, really nice in the 5v5 because you have such high amounts of CDR. It makes your leap strike, your counter strike very, very low cooldown. So you can jump in on Deft, you can force him back, and then still retreat back to your team and have that additional set of cooldowns up to go back in again later.
Count down the time. 2 minutes to go until this next break spawns. It is not sold just yet. We have seen JJ getting the better of smites. Not only last game, but this game as well. Taking away the red buff, for example. Over the wall goes Kingen. A lockdown. Viper tries to run. Lulu helps, but he's still going to go down. Pyosik gets the kill credit. Second death of the game for Viper.
I was not expecting the Heimerdinger to be the pickmaster in this game. A beautiful ultimate comes out from BeryL, catches Viper with no flash, and now they can convert it into the Baron.
Post 20 minutes, baby. I'm
Hell
right
yeah,
this time. They're going to Baron.
Ooh, nice little attempt there. Yeah, BeryL playing so far to the edge. Punished a lot for it in the early game, but now, 20 minutes in, has gotten so much for them. 4,000 health left with this one. JJ has flash, he has smite, he has the ability to play it out. Question is, will Poppy keep him away? The stun, he still gets the ult off in time! It's gonna be smited! Pyosik guarantees it! That was beautiful!
DRX are just taking over in these last couple minutes. This is incredible. The team fight around the Dragon. They get another team fight here a couple minutes later. The gold lead has just absolutely exploded. Now over 6,000 gold ahead here, and they're going to be wearing the Baron buff when this third dragon spawns. They'll have a good shot at trying to stop the snowball towards Soul that EDG has rolling.
It has felt like a very strange game because the early game, even though DRX were getting these small gold leads, it didn't feel like it was significant enough to really stop the powerful scaling that EDG would still have as the game progressed. It felt like that they wouldn't have the tools to find these picks, so they wouldn't really be able to do much against the EDG comp, but they keep finding picks. They're getting really creative with how they create these pockets of vision, and now they're looking for another one. Viper will be forced off this wave, and it's something that we're continuing to see from this DRX team where they control the space incredibly well. Now Zeka is looking for a pick of his own on the scout.
Gonna find it there. ER all gonna land, but with his jungler around, it's gonna be enough. Oh, the R2 is late. The stun lands as well, and he's burning, and he doesn't have lethal damage anymore. The E would be all that would kill, and it wouldn't land at the end of the day. 100 health left on him. He's got some honey fruit. The jump on in for Scout. The shutdown comes through. Drake is alive. Heimer kills it. Bot lane gonna drop the Aatrox as well.
They're getting stuff on the other side of the map, but I mean, he had full info. He knew that was a 1v2, and he decided to just try to take it anyway. Not able to find the execution there to make it happen. He does get the flash off of Scout, so at least it is a trade of summoners there, but Zeka really didn't have any reason to try to take that 1v2 while his team is just getting so much on the other side.
Yep, EDG, while they will be happy with the single kill and the tower, DRX walk away with the Infernal Drake and a bot tier 2, maintaining that 5k gold lead, extending it just a little bit. DRX, they still need to be able to break into the base of EDG. With the amount of wave clear that EDG have, we need to see a DRX splitting up the map. And I understand this idea of Zeka looking for a pick in a side lane. That's ideally what you want to do on champions like the Akali. Create these situations where maybe you can get the outplay in the 2 versus 1. And credit to Scout with his timing on the ultimate. Just as Zeka is ulting, he uses it to interrupt that dash, meaning that Zeka had no escape options. But DRX need to keep this pressure up. The Baron is going to be wearing off at about 30 seconds time. They've secured all, or at least most, of the tier 2 towers. I believe that they still haven't quite secured the top one. They found Meiko. They're not going to commit to it, and this top tier 2 is slowly being chipped away at.
Some good news, though, for EDG is that Viper will be closing in on his IE. He already has the 2 items. He's going towards that IE third here. The BF is already in pocket, so if you can get towards that, you are going to be very, very threatening in these 5v5s, especially with this Lulu behind you. But you can see the vision. They're really starting to get choked out.
Yeah, and when we talk about controlling space, this is exactly what we mean. Notice how they move into these pockets of darkness, and then they just sit there with their poke. And the second that EDG tried to come in and contest some of the vision, they get forced off it, meaning that it's DRX that can either wait out the wards if they can't sweep them out, or they replace them with their own wards. And now they're just stealing away all these neutrals. Deft just picked up the red buff. He's now going to get himself a blue buff. And DRX, they're playing the map incredibly well.
They really are, you know, and at the very least, EDG can move in on the other side. As soon as they see that Deft and BeryL are down towards bot side, they move in, they try to clear out some vision, reestablish a little bit of control, but it's looking really nice for DRX. You have to credit them with how well they're playing the map.
Yep, 6,000 gold lead, 1,200 of that. The Red Bull Baron power play that ended a minute ago. As they slowly stack up their side of the objectives. EDG not threatening a Dragon Soul, especially with how much DRX owns the map. 5-1 in turrets. Farm actually pretty solid everywhere. Every single lane is up except for support.
And one thing that, it doesn't really showcase itself in the CS lead is Deft has gotten 700 gold from First Strike, nearly 800 gold now. So a couple kills already grabbed basically from him. Scout on the other side has accrued about 400 gold. So, really, it is starting to pay dividends. And you can see that additional burst on these ultis. Every single time the ult is up and First Strike is available, Deft is just firing out these ultis, trying to poke out his opponents, get that additional gold from the First Strike. And it's been kind of up and to the right over these last couple of minutes here. They've opened up quite a large gold lead, 6,500 or thereabouts. Only 26 minutes in is really, really impressive.
It's one of those things that ultimately I underestimated. Often when we judge team compositions, we often remove the nameplates and we look at the comps purely objectively, comp to comp. This is Deft's Ezreal, right? This man, he often has an aimbot associated with this champion, and he is famous for it because of how experienced and good he is at playing the champion and often the matchup. Yet to die, 203, 277 CS, and he's nearing that 1,000 gold mark with his first strike, Ezreal, and he's only continuing to make that gold gap bigger between the 280 carries.
Absolutely, and you have to give credit to BeryL as well, despite the fact that he has 5 deaths this game, and he has been able to make some plays in these last couple minutes. And BeryL is a guy that has been throughout his career very creative. Last year at Worlds, he was actually tied for the most unique champion picks out of all the players there with 12. This year, coming into the series, he already had 6 unique picks and had only replayed one champion, the Heimerdinger, coming in. Of course, now he's played a couple more Heimer games.
What a one trick.
Yeah, exactly. But it's just cool to see the confidence and the mastery over some of these unique champions that, Heimer is not an everyone S-tier pick. It is only really for a few of these players who seem to have mastered it.
All I'm going to say is there is an element of irony of an underdog team using Heimerdinger to upset a dominant historic LPL team. The Baron now spawning in about 10 seconds time, and DRX looking to control the top side, but EDG want to fight back.
Goes for the ult. They actually want to kill the Pyosik, but it's not going to be enough. They decide, actually, no, the fight's not here for a Zeka to spot Scout. Just going to be wave clear, though, as Deft feels happy to run up and go for even more poke. JJ without an ultimate, not going to be nearly as scary for engage, so EDG don't have a good way to start the fight out as the map continues to be choked from them. The gold, to be fair, has remained relatively flat at around 6,000 gold.
And while Pyosik took a lot of damage there, he has a Warbox, so he's just going to heal that right back up. This is not a big deal. I love that on-tank junglers. When you are needing someone to step forward and actually check through these brushes, as long as they can't 100-0 them, the poke damage just doesn't matter.
The Kingen leveraging the fog once more. That's a good flank position.
Viper has Ghost Flash Gale Force. He should feel pretty safe. TP now comes in as well to bring in Scout. This could be the fight. Eviction from Poppy. It's not going to land. Goes out a little bit too late. That might mean the angle. Pyosik cannot get rid of anyone anymore. Shrelly has popped out from Meiko. Not going to matter there. Kingen to the target. Gale Force again cannot find his stun, but Pyosik could be chunked. One more auto gets the stun, and they can kill him. He flashes, just barely stays alive, and waits for the Warmog's region to kick back in. They keep this 5-on-5 going. The Drake is alive. For now, there's no Drake. A flash. Forced out a barrel. A Scout goes in for more. Could have got his own flash. Doesn't go for it. Could come right back around. And now Pyosik is regenning.
He's regenning right back to full, but Kingen has no flash, no ulti, so this Aatrox is going to be a lot weaker in the fight. They also use the ulti on BeryL. They use the ulti there on Deft. EDG are going to start this up, and they do have the ultimate advantages and the summoner advantages right now.
Big 3 ults up right now for EDG. True Shot Rush going to cross. Now it's only Akali. Stun's going to land. Dragon burn down. Soul plate for EDG. But can they get out? Here comes Kingen. Oh! The knockup. But the rest of the backline stays safe for now. Tackle won't find the stun either. Zeka has to jump back out. No one dying just yet. Kingen almost stunnable. Zeka won't find the rest of it. E2 to R2 backwards, and there is no kill to be had. A Drake secured. EDG on Infernal Soul Point.
A very tense exchange between EDG and DRX. It is EDG that will walk away with the Dragon and put themselves on Soul Point, but you can see how terrifying this DRX squad is right now. Level 17 on Zeka, level 16 on Kingen, and Ezreal, you highlighted how so many of the ultimates were unavailable at the start of the fight. Had they been, that could have been EDG wiped off the map.
Absolutely, but some big item completions coming through there. Death Cap just purchased up for Zeka, as well as that IE on the other side, so the lethality for these champions is going to be that much higher. You have that fight again here. All of a sudden, Pyosik doesn't slink out with a couple health. He dies to that IE Aphelios. And they have got to play these fights so damn well, because this late into the game, one lost fight is going to be in the Baron. and can mean an enormous swing in the game.
I will say, Deft, when you look across EDG's comp, what is the real threat against it?
Ooh,
And like, that is some very real damage. Level 16, 4 items fully completed for Deft. He is feeling confident. He told EDG that he is ready to dance, and he is showing us his best moves right now.
More Mogs on JJ. He can take the front line at the very least, so both junglers actually able to play up, take the punishment, come back out of combat for 10 seconds and go back to full HP, basically. They stack on up, but you can see Zeka putting the top side, doing very well in the Akali. It's top tier 2.
And I think it's really, really smart for JJ as well. You're looking over, Deft is constantly poking away at them. They have a Bloodthirster on the Aphelios, so he can shut off the poke. They're looking for Scout.
Viper not an easy target there. You got Scout going for the knockback on a second, getting him away, but that's 2 ultis down for mid and jungle. Baron is up. Is that the play? Viper, again, missing the important cooldowns. Gale Force, the only thing left up, so a flank could look very good as BeryL plays for the mid lane with Kingen. The rest of his team owns the top river.
Yeah, they have to wait for Deft. Deft was picking up that red buff, so he is back now, and it's just rinse and repeat. DRX's game plan very clearly seems to be find flanks, get poked down, but there's more and more players on the enemy team that have ways to actually deal with this now, between the Warmogs, between that Bloodthirster as well. So it's really about trying to poke out Scout and Meiko now, it feels like, mostly. And they're just going to start up the Baron and try to draw them in.
Look at the ult. Scout and JJ don't have them available. Zeka is on the flank. Everything looks good for DRX.
4,000 health left onto this one. When does he get into the pit? Does he have a chance here for JJ? Gonna Q, flash, smited away by Pyosik, well secured on the Baron. Is this team fight gonna happen now? Is Kingen gonna push out Flandre staying alive? JJ cannot leave the pit. He's gonna drop. Baron and a kill. Well done, DRX.
Dangerous flip there from DRX, but they do get the secure. JJ gets into the pit, but Pyosik is able to nail it. And that puts them 10,000 gold ahead here now. For EDG, they've just got to try to hold on and look to fight for soul. We can watch it one more time. Zeka's trying to keep JJ away, but they can't even get close to him. JJ gets into the pit. It's down to 700, and he had the smite. It looked like he was trying to do a combo, but oh!
Knocked back on a second. Huge damage invisible. Does he have damage in his skull? Oh. Yes, he does! Death captive, baby! It's going to be one. A Gale Force, but not in range for the rest. Zeka gets away.
Wow, Zeka is able to get the solo kill onto Scout. A bit of revenge after game 1. This time he's able to find the ultimate, and this time he'll shut down the mid of EDG.
And now that's a lot of the wave clear gone here for EDG. Azir is their best wave clear here, so they're pushing in through mid, they're pushing in through top, they're getting these lanes going. It's going to be difficult to actually control. Deft even pushing up bots, so they want to try to play through 3 lanes here with the Azir missing and get as much damage done as possible.
Deft has a TP, he can split without any issues and just join the team when a siege actually happens. 50 seconds till Dragon Soul. That will be during the Baron buff. DRX 2700 so far in the Red Bull Baron power play they've got so far. And you know they should have an easy time walking back down and securing Drake for themselves.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be difficult for them to get out of the map. But look at this, a TP flank coming in here from Scout. Okay. Can he actually find Deft?
Can Deft survive? Arcane shifts 1. He's got a QSS. He's going to shuffle away. Keeps it up for a bit more time, but he should still be the target, and they kill him. Oh. Gary is down, but the base is under attack. On to the Nexus turrets they could be, but don't want to take an actual 5v4. Pyosik finds a bit of time there against JJ, who wants a slow knock up. He's gonna land. Oh, he doesn't have the last shot just yet, but maybe with Jax they have it. No, he's gonna get away. But 10 seconds until Dragon Soul, and Deft is 30 seconds after that.
And they have the inside track, but they could go top. They can actually go top here and try to turn it into a chaotic cave. They're sending 3 top. They're going to try to go for a second inhibitor. Who goes back to defend? Pyosik is harassing them. Meiko's base has been canceled, so it's Flandre and 2v3. Viper.
2v3. It's enough to defend the Nexus turrets, though, is the thing. He wants to go in for more. I mean, without the big carries, right? Zeka's the only one. Jumps in for Viper, but zoned out. Ruined. Stopwatch. He can stay for the stun. Goes for BeryL. And again, he finds the Heimerdinger. Aatrox kills off Lulu, though. The fight's still going across the map right now. Dragon Soul has been claimed. And Flandre has what? He has vision. Ward. Flash stuns. Zeka. Oh! And a
the tower
hits the minions. And Zeka gets away.
Oh,
the bottom side, though, Scout is being attacked. Does he have the damage? He does not. 10 to 10 in kills. A 10,000 gold lead.
This game is insane, Freak. Oh my God. EDG and DRX, an absolute slugfest. Back and forth, but DRX are the ones coming largely out on top in the gold lead. but the Soul is going to do a lot to eliminate that. And Scout got a 1K shutdown off of Deft as well. So if they can hold on here, if they can defend the base, they're going to have this permanent Soul buff, and the gold lead won't mean nearly as much. So DRX are trying to push to end right now.
Heimer walking out of the base. It's a 4v4 on this push. JJ holds the front line, but without Scout, they're missing a lot of damage. A 3-item Azir, certainly pretty relevant. Of course, Baron is gone, inhibitors are gone, which means supers are coming in. It's going to be a double stacked wave on the top side, as you can watch it slowly kill the enemy wave. But they're going to retreat back down. They know with Scout respawning, they don't like the fight anymore. Gonna play it slow.
And you can see how cautious DRX are still taking this game. Even with the lead that they have, they recognize that EDG's way back into this game is a single good team fight. They have to leverage their range and take their time. They now start threatening the bot side of the map. The mid wave is pushing in, and DRX patiently make their way towards EDG.
Viper wants his kill! Oh, lands! And Viper screams across the world into bot diff, baby!
What a play from Viper! Pops the Ghost, goes in, finds the Gale Force, finds the ultimate, and gets the kill on Deft here. Deft is doing about as much damage as the rest of his team combined. Without him, they can't push.
Viper sinks his fangs into the heart of DRX as Deft will fall, and now EDG will finally take the tier 1 tower in the mid lane.
Timing can be pretty close this one. He can almost get the turret before the TP completes.
I spoke too soon.
Time. There will not be the full siege just yet. 3 in mid. Meiko's still there to support Viper. Keep in mind, no stopwatch. He doesn't have infinite safety. Zeka just eating back over to his own shroud. Not going to find the play just yet, but with Scout sieging, with a stun on the jungler, they're going to push him off to go for the mid turret, and they should kill it.
Yeah, they're going to be able to get the tower. They just don't have any wave clear without Deft. Deft really is it for this team. This full build Ezreal will not have the GA. So it's going to be tough to actually knock down here again.
And this is the scariest thing for DRX, because we talked about it at the beginning of the game. You can see the respect that DRX is showing. EDG's comp is lethal in the late game. It is so difficult to play against. And up until that point, DRX were playing a very clean game. Yes, EDG was finding a pick here and there, an objective here and there, but DRX were the ones largely in control. But this was the first point of weakness that we have seen from DRX, and EDG were quick to capitalize. Now they've reclaimed control over their topside jungle. They pushed out the bot wave, and now the Baron is on the board once again. 2 control wards in the pit right now. Not going to clear them away. The vision is fully there. Mid will be pushed in, but Zeka on the wings gets rid of Scout's Banshee's Veil. 6k health. Already getting burned low. The damage is so incredibly high. Pyosik stuck in the pit, gets stunned, and Zeka waits in the wings. He has not yet looked for the flank as he gets rid of wards. Pyosik low but not down. Flandre jumping back in the team. Ooh. And BeryL safe in the wings now as well. BeryL being forced back incredibly low. This is a big win for EDG. Pyosik looking to try and heal on the backside of the Baron pit, but good highlight there. Zale and Freak, that top wave is continuing to push in, and it's something that EDG have to deal with. Instead, they make their way towards mid. Flandre had walked up. Poppy's going to recall. She looked for the play, but they've already recalled out Scout, so it's going to be just the push towards mid and the retreat back, because guess what, though? Poppy is on the flank. Poppy's on the flank. She's going to get here before Azir. They've got a chance at finding the kills. Viper has flash. Viper has flash. Oh, the root stun into Pyosik. Will it be the kill? Stone plate is not enough. Viper is simply too huge. Viper does it again. The root from the Gravitum stops Pyosik finding that pick on the Meiko, which would have been the difference maker in the fight. DRX now a man down. Can they stop EDG's Baron?
I don't know that they can. They don't have a jungler here, and BeryL has no flash.
It was TP. Deft TP's to the top lane. They've got to get back to the base. They've got to answer him.
Double TP.
They're going. They send more. Seth gets the stun, but inside the pit, they're still playing for Baron. It's secured, but Deft kills turret number 1. He kills turret number 2, and the Nexus is in his eyes, and he's gonna get the inhibitor! The inhibitor is back out! What? He cannot get the stun. No way! Oh my God, Deft, no! The game was in your hands, Deft! It was right in front of you, and the inhibitor spawns! Absolute heartbreak for DRX! That was their game, and an inhibitor stops the Nexus from falling. Quarters of seconds made the difference here. The inhibitor goes back up with a single auto away, and now they're respawning. I cannot believe
mean,
I cannot believe that just happened.
it's just insane. And the stop on the Aatrox as well. The stop on the Aatrox, you have to wonder how much faster could it have gone down. Would they have had the extra damage with the Aatrox here to actually get the kill? I think they would have for sure. So the Sejuani stopping the Aatrox really made all the difference there.
Oh no! It's so painful to watch.
It's so close, and Deft loses everything here. He loses the TP, loses the GA.
I can't believe it. I've never seen that in all my years of playing League of Legends. I have never once in my life seen that happen. EDG will now secure the Elder, and it feels like the DRX are losing everything.
If Kingen TP'd from a slightly different spot, or if JJ didn't spot him and stop him there, DRX win the game. If the inhibitor respawns, 1 second later, DRX win the game. And now it is Soul, it is Elder, it is EDG pushing forward here with Viper feeling like an unstoppable force. But DRX must find some way to stop him.
Zeka has TP. If he finds a way in, it's not going to happen there. Flandre is actually in base. Deft's gonna Arcane Shift out away. Theoretically, it is 5v4. Against Elder Dragon, it is tough, but Flandre is playing to make sure there's not a TP play. Inhibitor's easy to kill. The next is 2 hits afterwards. They have to cover the base. And the thing is, this looks so EDG favored. They've still got Baron, they've got 5,000 gold with it, and they're bringing Flandre over. They're trying to end the game here. BeryL chunked a bit low. Viper Gale Force down. Has Ghost, but no Flash. He is killable. They evict only minions. This small wave can be cleared. Shirelia's popped, 30 seconds in the Baron. Walking in for a bit more. Pyosik chunked a bit. Zeka waiting the wings still. Kingen on the side, jump now on by Jax. Viper still playing to the edge. One hit will kill Pyosik. He tries to get in range, can't find him, but Ghost is now popped. No defensive tools left. There's a shuffle back. It's a stopwatch to buy some time. But does he have a target in his eyes? It's not gonna happen. A solo kill for Flandre inside the opposing base. Flandre may die, but doesn't matter because the base is going to fall. Deft dies Nexus to Nexus, and EDG go up 2-0.
What an incredible game between DRX and EDG. These two teams battling back and forth to the final seconds here. A game that truly came down to the smallest of differences. This is one where you will be able to go back and watch and find 10, 20, 30, 40 different things that could have changed the outcome to this game. The smallest decisions really changing everything.
I'm lost for words. I've never